My name is Jyoti Chand, also known as Mamajotes, your cool mom friend. Make sure you're following me on Instagram and don't forget to hit subscribe right here because you don't want to miss it. Last month on the weekend of January 5th, 2023, we ventured to Disney World. Me and my family of four. I have me, my husband, and two kids that are 4 and 5 years old. It was our first time going to Disney World, and we planned the trip within 2 weeks, which I know is unheard of when it comes to Disney World because people are planning 6 months ahead of time. But it was a last minute decision for us, and I'm gonna share exactly how we did that, what we did, things I learned along the way so that you don't make the same mistakes we did when you go. Better than Disneyland or the same? Well, I personally think that Disney World was a lot better. I grew up in LA and I have gone to Disneyland several times, and I will say that the Disney World bubble was a lot better than the Disneyland bubble because there was just all these different resorts that you can just walk right into. The air quality was a million times better at Disney World. The weather was fantastic when we were there in January. And I honestly felt like the magic was truly alive. Also, Disney World has a lot more parks to choose from. There are 7 parks, 4 of those are amusement parks and 3 of those are water parks. How far in advance did you book your trip? Like I said, we booked our trip 2 weeks in advance, meaning that we really had to hustle. So I booked our trip in 1 single day by just looking for all the resources, and here's what we decided to do. We stayed at the Hampton Inn and Suites, Buena Vista, Orlando, and absolutely loved it. I chose that location because 1, the price was phenomenal. 2, it had a shuttle that shuttled you from the hotel to the parks itself. And 3, there was a free breakfast. That's always a winner for me with kids because when there's a free breakfast, that means that you can pack snacks to go. I made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches from the breakfast for the park, and it's just a great way to save money. Nobody wants to wake up with hungry children and have to go to a restaurant and sit there and wait for food. Breakfast buffets are definitely the way to go, and I highly recommend it. We actually ended up Ubering from the hotel to everywhere we needed to go because the shuttle timings really just didn't work out for us. They were at specific times and we wanted to be places at our own times, so we just did that. So I definitely recommend looking at the timings of shuttles before booking your hotel just to make sure it works with your schedule. We had 2 booster size kids with us, so we actually found some inflatable boosters, which I'm gonna link somewhere here. They were phenomenal. They folded up, deflated and folded up. We kept it in our backpacks, and when we needed to Uber, we just blew them up, put them in the cars, and the kids were safe and good to go. While we were at Disney World, since we were only there for 3 nights, we actually only had the time to visit 1 park, which was Magic Kingdom, of course. And we got to go to Disney Springs, which I highly recommend making a day for. Disney Springs is this beautiful outdoor shopping, walking, playing area that was free to go to, which is amazing. But it's just so beautiful to see. It feels like Disney. It has all the Disney magic, and we had a really good time there. There's a Lego store that the kids got to play out for a while. There's beautiful waterfront views and some shopping. We had ice cream at Salt and Straw, and it was a great time together. So if you're looking for something to do on an off day, highly recommend Disney Springs. The other thing that I recommend for an off day is doing a character dining experience. The reason I say to do it on an off day is because it is an experience within itself. So if you're gonna do it at one of the parks, I mean, you're taking away from so much time from attractions and parades and shows and all of that. So because time is so limited at these parks and we only really have 1 day at each of them, I made sure to do our character dining the night before we went to Magic Kingdom. We did the Mickey and Friends character dining experience at the Contemporary Resort, and it was phenomenal. You have to reserve these things ahead of time. So because we planned our trip only 2 weeks in advance, it was a little bit difficult to get a reservation. I could not get us into Mickey and Friends, and I was like, what do I do? So I luckily learned about mousewatcher.com before our trip. I went on mousewatcher.com. It cost $5 to watch a reservation. So what happens is you type in where you want to go on what day and you pay the $5. Then MouseWatcher will text you when a reservation opens up. You immediately book as you get the text. I got like 17 texts about Mickey and Friend dinner reservations that opened up because people do cancel, but it's hard to know when or how to do, when to watch it 24/7. Like, who has time to watch it 24/7? Well, Mouse Watcher does. The food for Mickey and Friends was very, very, very good. There are vegetarian options. The kids got their basics like chicken nuggets, mac and cheese, all of that. My kids aren't huge on that stuff, so they ended up eating off of our food. It is an all-you-can-eat experience. So they bring the food to your table, you eat as much as your heart desires, which I love. Now, it's a little bit steep. The total bill came up to somewhere around $200 for the 4 of us, but we got to meet Mickey, Goofy, Donald, Minnie, Pluto. So we got to meet 5 characters, personal time with them without waiting in any lines at Magic Kingdom itself. And my kids brought their autograph books, the characters signed autographs, we got pictures, we got videos. It was amazing. And it's truly an experience that none of us will ever forget. Is it worth bringing a stroller? Now, this really depends on the age of your kids. Our kids are 4 and 5 and they don't normally use a stroller anymore, but we decided to rent one at Magic Kingdom for $30 for a double stroller, and it was probably the best decision of the day. When you enter inside of Magic Kingdom, you go towards your right, and on the left-hand side, there's stroller rentals. It's that easy. You go straight there, you get a double stroller or a single stroller, whatever you need, and you can use it for the entire day. I really liked it because it made it a lot easier than having the kids walk and complain about being tired. I mean, it's a lot of walking and we're tired by the end of the day, so I can only imagine how their little legs are handling it. It also gives you the opportunity to let them rest and nap if they need to. Our kids had no naps at all. They were like, no way are we napping. We're not missing a thing. But it was nice to be able to just like rest in the stroller for them. The first thing you're gonna want to do as you're planning is download the Disney Experience app. Everything is on the app. Your tickets are gonna be on there. Your Genie Passes are gonna be on there. We're about to go into Genie Passes. You can see the wait times on lines. You can get a map of the park. You can see the restaurant. You can make reservations. Everything is on the app. So download the app, create the account, and keep everything in one place. It's gonna make your life a lot easier. But what happens if your phone dies? Don't let your phone die. We ended up buying these amazing portable chargers that we took with us. My husband took one and I took one, and it kept our phone alive throughout the whole trip. It is very hard to find places to plug your phone in at Disney World. They are there like randomly throughout, but you would have to just randomly sit there and charge your phone. So I do recommend investing in some portable chargers, and these Anchor chargers that we got from Amazon are amazing. Genie Passes. Genie Passes are pretty much the new Fast Pass. If you've ever been to Disney before, they used to have this thing called Fast Passes. Now they're called Genie Passes, and they're only available through the app. So what you do at 7 a.m., the morning of the day you're going to Disney parks, you go ahead and buy a Genie Pass. Now, I'm speaking specifically for Magic Kingdom. We did not visit any other parks that day, but they are available for all the parks. So, is it worth it? Yes. The prices change every single day. So for our day, it was $17 a person for a Genie Pass. I saw it up there for another day for like $24. It really just depends on the crowd and how many people are there and how many they have available. The perks of Genie Pass is that it helps you go through the lightning lane. So it's gonna get you onto the attraction a lot quicker, and I'm talking about like a fraction of the time. They always let the lightning lane go through first, and it's really, really, really worth it to have when you have littles who do not have the patience to stand in a 30-minute line. Most of the attractions have a lightning lane, like the main big ones. And so what we did is we booked Peter Pan's flight first. Now that one ends up having one of the longest lines of the day. So we wanted to book it first, and our first Lightning Pass was available for 11 a.m. for Peter Pan's flight. What they're gonna do is they're gonna give you a window of time where they're like, you can go on Peter Pan's flight anywhere from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. You cannot book your next Genie Pass, like your next lightning lane, until the app tells you you can. So for us, it was like 10 o'clock, I could book my next one. I kept using the Genie Pass throughout the entire day and got to go on most of the attractions that we wanted to go on. The only attraction that we didn't get to go on was the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which was near Peter Pan's flight and the carousel and all of that. So it actually had a lightning lane, but that lightning lane is separate charge from the Genie Pass. It's the only ride that does that. So what I would recommend is when you first get into the park to hit up that ride first because that line ended up being 90 minutes and we did not go on that because there was no way my little ones were gonna wait 90 minutes in a line. One of the most common questions that I got is how many days is enough days? For us, we felt like 3 days was more than enough, and one park. We were exhausted by the time we got onto the plane, and I couldn't have imagined doing multiple parks in a row, but that's our family and that's what works for us. You have to do what works for you. Some people like to go and do a 5-day park hopper pass, which actually ends up saving you money because the more days that you buy for, the more discounts that you get. Other ways to save money on park tickets, you can use Rakuten to buy Disney gift cards and get percentage back at places. Sometimes Best Buy has like 10% back on Rakuten, and if you buy, you know, $1,000 worth of Disney gift cards, then you would potentially get back $100 and therefore $100 off on your Disney trip. I know some people who use their Target Red card, which is 5% off, and on top of that, use Rakuten as well, and end up saving even more on their Disney gift cards. I ended up having a friend who works at Disney who was able to use their employee discount to get us tickets to the park, so that was awesome, and I'm oh so grateful for her. Another way that we saved money for this trip was by taking our own Mickey ears. I know that sounds so basic, but we ordered our own Mickey ears off Amazon, and I took those. I also took a hat and a couple other Disney geared items so that the kids didn't feel like they had to go buy something from the store. We did still buy souvenirs, and that was our choice, but if you're trying to avoid leaving with bags and bags of souvenirs and less money in your wallet, I would highly recommend just taking the Disney ears, grabbing them off Amazon for like 10 bucks and not spending the $30 there. So was it difficult doing Disney pregnant? I was about 21 weeks along when we went to Disney World, and I will say that it did take a toll on my back. I really wish that I had a stroller for myself, but we made it through, and I would definitely do it all over again. I think if you're gonna do it in your pregnancy, second trimester is the best time to do it because you're over that like morning sickness phase, but you're not in that I can barely walk because I'm so heavy phase. One of the things I learned about the hotels is that the hotels are free to enter and free to visit and open to the public. So even if you're not staying at a Disney resort, I highly recommend going to visit the resorts. They are beautiful on the inside. They have all the Disney vibes to them. They have restaurants, they have stores, and you could literally just go chill there if you want to. So even if you decide to stay off property and you stayed at the Hampton Inn like us, we ended up spending an entire day at the Contemporary Resort. We even allowed ourselves into the pool area to chill out. I know several people who've taken bathing suits, and I'm sure Disney is not gonna be happy I'm telling you this, but it's not that hard to get into the resorts. So I would highly recommend like picking one and going to check it out and using the monorail system. You can go from the monorail, from the resort on the monorail for free to the parks, to the other resorts. We rode the monorail just like for fun on our off day before our Mickey and Friends dinner. The ferry is also free to ride, which I thought was really fun. We ended up taking the ferry to get to Magic Kingdom the day of our Magic Kingdom day, and it was so beautiful to go on the water. They also have the sky mover. I'm not sure what it's exactly called, but that is also free to ride. So just knowing you don't have to stay at the resorts to use the travel amenities like the monorail and the ferry and that. And you can just go into the resort to hang out, to eat, to chill, whatever. Going to the pool, I'm sure that's not like recommended or legal, but you know, you do you. How expensive was it? Disney World is not cheap, and I have taken the time to calculate exactly how much we spent. We were being mindful, but we weren't being like over the top, like thrifty with our trip. We did spend while we were there and buy souvenirs, and we did eat at the park. And so this is how much we ended up spending for 1 weekend at Disney World. I cannot wait to go back to Disney World, and I highly recommend taking the kids if you have the means to do it. 4 and 5 was such an amazing age to see the magic in their eyes, and even though they may not fully remember this trip, I know that I'm gonna remember it, and it was magical for me. Make sure to follow along and subscribe to our channel. The next place we're heading to is the Nickelodeon Resort in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, and I cannot wait to share our experience with that.